Welcome. Before we begin, a brief caution. Some of the movements and exercises in the video may not be suitable for everyone. If you have any questions or concerns about your ability to safely perform these exercises and movements, please stop immediately, consult with the appropriate member of your healthcare team, and only proceed when all of your questions and concerns have been appropriately addressed. And now, let's dive in. Welcome. We're learning the Sun style long form, the Sun 73, as modified by Dr. Paul Lamb. This is not the competition 73 form, so just be aware of that. To begin, a little bit about direction. There are a lot of changes of direction in the 73 forms. So the convention that I'm going to use is as follows. Whatever direction I start out facing is north. Doesn't matter what the actual north is. For our purposes, wherever I'm starting, I'm facing north, which implies behind me is south, to my right is east, to my left is west. We also do a lot on the diagonals, so we've got the northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. And I'll use those directions to call out because sometimes on the video, it can be difficult to work out what direction we're really going in. So in this video, we're going to take a detailed look at the first two forms in the 73, commencement and leisurely tying the coat. So let me first demonstrate commencement. That was it. Let's break that down into some of the components. I'll do it facing the camera to the side and then with my back to the camera so we can look at it. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm standing comfortably and I've left Wuji, I'm coming into Taiji, and the first thing I'm doing is I'm bringing awareness. My toes and knees are aligned and angled out about 30 degrees. The heels are together. And first thing I'm going to do is press down on the bubbling well in the right foot as sort of an activation signal to my body that I'm going to start bringing intention to things. I'm going to start separating the yin and the yang energies, and we got to get ready to work, guys. As I do that, I'm shifting my weight over into the left foot. And now I begin to slowly pivot on my right heel till my right toe is facing north, which is to say directly in front of me. And I have slowly begun to turn my head, the eyes slightly leading, and by virtue of our principle that everything moves together, my torso has slowly moved towards the northwest direction. So let's take a look at that from the side. Activate, transfer, and begin a little bit of a turn. And from the back, activate, shift my weight, turn my toe, pivoting on the heel as my eyes, my head, my torso have slowly, ever so slightly moved towards the northeast. It's not a big turn yet, just a little bit, but it's the beginning and it's setting me up for the right starting position for the second form, which is the leisurely tie the coat. So those of you familiar with the TCA Part 2 have done leisurely tie the coat coming out of a brushed knee. This one is a little different. So let me start by just demonstrating, and I'll come back to the beginning just so you have some context here. So okay, so there's a lot going on with that move, isn't there? So we'll break it down into several parts here, and I'll do it in a couple of different directions so you get the benefit of seeing how it works. So the starting position, having completed our commencement move, I've got one toe pointed directly north. This one was angled out a little bit, and my torso is angled out a little bit. Eyes focused out there, so we'll call it the northwest. So the first thing I did is to effortlessly bring up my hands to the shoulder width and shoulder height. And as I did that, the weight is in the left foot, and I have picked up the right heel just a little bit. The front of the right foot is still on the ground. So that's the first position, okay? And from the back, what that looks like. Okay, so far, so good. Next, we'll pick it up from here. And the weight is still in the left foot. But now I'm transferring it to the right, and I'm peeling up my left heel as my hands are making an arc down towards my waist. And as the hands come up, I step forward, heel toe to the northwest, and my hands come out, fingers pointed directly out. Okay, let's look at that from the side. So our opening position, our hands come down, the left heel raises, all the weight's in the right, I step with the left, next, we're here. I stepped with the left, with the weight still in the right. And now I'm transferring the weight to the left foot so that I can do a follow step with the right. Now notice that I didn't take maybe as complete a follow step as I normally would. And that's because I know that the next thing I'm going to do is be turning around through the north over to the east. And I want to leave myself adequate room with the footwork. So I have, looked ahead to the next move to make sure that I'm not only following this form, but also setting myself up for success with the next form. So we're here. Next thing I'm going to do, shift the weight back into the right. And now, as I glide my weight into the right, my right palm is slowly turning up, and my left palm is coming in to protect the right wrist. And with all the weight in the right, I can now pivot to the north on my left heel, shift the weight to the left so I can pivot on my right heel, turning around on my central axis line so that I'm now facing east. So let's take a look at that from the back. Okay, so we started there, and then we went over to here, and then we shifted the weight into the right, pivoted with the left as the right hand came up and the left hand came over, and then we pivoted on the right. And now torso is facing pretty much dead east. What happens next? Okay, so at this point, we've done a turn. The weight is on the left because I was just moving the right. I have rotated around my central axis line. I haven't leaned, and now we're into the part of leisurely tie the coat that you're already familiar with if you know the TCA, which is string between my thumb and my big toe, which allows me to turn. As I get to the maximum part of my turn, I'm dropping my right elbow, turning my torso back to, in this case, the east. I'm going to step forward with the right, push the right hand out, the left is still protecting, and I'm follow stepping with the left foot. At this point, all the weight is in the right. Okay, so let's look at that from the back. See, I told you there were a lot of turns in this form. So we commence, we start to move into leisurely tie the coat, the follow step. Now comes our turn. Weight is in the right as I'm turning the left. Weight is in the left as I'm swinging around. Drop the elbow, step, follow step. So that's the first two forms of the 73 set. A lot going on there. So we want to take our time and feel very comfortable with those changes of direction and those changes of shifting the weight from the right to the left. And if you've done leisurely tie the coat in the TCA form, you certainly have a leg up here for part of the move, but you've still got to learn that different beginning and how we get into it. We'll see you in the next video.